My name is Nathaniel McGee, and this is Module 1. First of all, a little bit about me. I grew up on a farm north of Blue Mountain, Kansas, where we raised cattle, and I was very active in 4-H growing up. I attended Jayhawk Lynn High School, which at that time was a 3A high school, and I joke around and say that was the only time I was ever a Jayhawk fan, kind of hoping KU loses pretty quickly in this tournament. After Jayhawk, I attended Fort Scott Community College on a lifestyle judging scholarship and traveled around the country doing that. Had a lot of fun and some success with that as well. After Fort Scott, I attended Kansas State University and graduated in 2013 with my bachelor's in agricultural education. While I was at K-State, I also met my wife Amanda, who's a fifth grade teacher and a K-State alumni. We've been married for 5.5 years. I've taught my first 2 years, also including my student teaching, and then my first 2 years of my career in Winfield, Kansas, which is a 4A high school. Really enjoyed my time down there. Wish I would have stayed if it was closer to family, but it was given the opportunity to get really close to family. I live only a few miles from my wife's hometown and only 30 minutes from my hometown. Now when we live near Osawatomie, where my wife teaches, and I teach in a small rural school district just west of Osawatomie called Central Heights. It doesn't really have a town. It's in the middle of a very rural environment, middle of a field. Some of the activities or duties that I have, I'm an FFA advisor as well as a full-time before and after school bus driver. Stay pretty busy with that. Really excited right now because my wife and me are expecting our first child in August, and so here in a couple weeks, about 2 weeks, we find out whether we're having a boy or girl. So we're really excited about that. And some hobbies that I have, I really enjoy hunting. I mostly bird hunt and waterfowl hunt. I have a German Shorthair pointer that I've trained and worked with tireless hours. We're currently on spring break, and I think I've worked with him, several hours each day so far, and really enjoy doing that. It's a good hobby of mine. I also like woodworking and fishing, and also remodeling my house. I installed a wood floor today. Here's some pictures. It's my first FA officer team in Winfield. Group of great kids. This is my dog Rookie on a hunting trip near Wilson. This is me and my wife on a cruise that we went to, and a Mexican cruise over Christmas break this year. And this is me and my wife on our wedding day. Critical reflection of content-based learning materials and strategies at Central Heights. First of all, we have students that receive those services have access to a resource room. The gifted program and students that receive those services are offered during 8th hour. Each kid that gets those services is assigned to that teacher's classroom during 8th hour to get those services. We also have paraprofessional support in the classroom. Some modifications I've had the opportunity to make is offering a quiet environment for testing. I have never had to modify a test because at Central Heights it's mostly core subjects that require modification of test or assignments. I do have a student right now who has the option to type any and all assignments because of some unlegible handwriting. And we've had some students that require extra time, whether it be with projects or tests or writing. Kind of critiquing my use of these strategies and materials. First of all, I don't have a whole lot of experience doing this because Central Heights, mostly it's only offered to students in core classes. So I don't get that opportunity very much, being an elective teacher. I don't do very good at attending IEP meetings. I know that sounds awful to say, but most of these happen during parts of my work day that I can't attend before and after school. I have to drive a bus route. And so I have to be real diligent about giving my input to the special education teachers so they can share that input with the parents and administrators during that IEP meeting. So I do a very good job of doing that. I was also recently given the opportunity 2 years ago, I guess it was, to help a senior meet their math goals in the welding class with a project. We did some geometry on figuring the pitch of the roof for the shed that he built for his senior project. We did some fractions when it came to the shop plans or shop scale drawings, as well as tape measure skills, and bill of materials required a lot of those skills as well. And so he didn't have a math class his senior year, so I was asked to help with that. I've also done, I worked a lot with the special education teacher there, and so I've always done my best to work with students and with the special education teacher on following a kid's IEP or a plan. But the main thing is it's got to be communicated with the teachers, and that's where I think a lot of times we struggle at Central Heights. We need more clarity, we need more communication. It needs to be really clear what the students need to be successful, and that needs to be communicated to teachers, administrators, parents as well. And we need to have an open line of communication between all parties involved, including the student as well. And I think sometimes we have a communication breakdown. As far as its funding goes, it doesn't require extra funding or any funding to have good clarity and communication. So my plan to make Central Heights better is not impacted by funding. That does not take away, though, the fact that public schools should be allocating money for the best interest of the students, and some students require these services to be successful. And so the state and the local school district should do their absolute best to make sure everything is fully funded for those students. Thank you.